that impacts us tremendously, consistently in this business. And I'm going to make this a little bit interactive here because I want to kind of get you guys' input in here too. So there's one day of the week, guys, where more non-hospitalized people die than any other day of a week. Can you guys put in the chat what day you think that could be? Ooh, I see a lot of Mondays coming in. That is correct. More people die on Monday mornings than any other day of the week. Monday mornings. Now, let me take this a little bit further. Part B. Part B is this. Because these people dying, it's not happening at work. It's not happening while they're driving. They're found in their house. Anybody want to guess which part of their house those people are found in? See bedrooms. Can we get people muted? Bedrooms. All right. Bedrooms are not it. Bathroom and restrooms. Yes. Bathroom floors. It got me to think more people are found dead on Monday mornings on the bathroom floor than any other day of the week. Now, bonus question here for you guys. Anybody want to guess what the cause of death is for those people? Heart attack, cardiac event. So more people are found dead on the bathroom floors on Monday mornings than any other day of the week, guys, due to cardiac arrest or cardiovascular related event. But here's the kicker, because it really got me into my feelings, because back in July of 2023, I got a call that my dad was found dead on the bathroom floor. And I started digging. I'm like, oh man, I stopped working out. I'm like, I gotta go find out. July 10th is when my dad passed away. July 10th of 2023. Anybody want to guess what day of the week that was? A Monday. Yes, Trisha. A Monday. But why? But why? Because like I've heard people hit Mondays, but I didn't know people hit Mondays enough to spike cardiac arrest to that level. And there's a study that I started digging because now I'm like into YouTube and Google now. I'm like, oh man, this has to be good. I got to start digging even deeper. And then the study goes and shows this. This is a study done back in 2016, and it shows that there is such a distinct pattern in deaths related to heart attacks. They occur at the lowest on weekends and are much higher on Mondays. See, like it says the risk grows 20% greater on Mondays for adult men and 15% greater on Mondays for adult women. And the reason it seems is that people hate their job so much that it spikes cardiac arrest in them. Millions of people, guys, wake up to a life that they hate. They wake up to a job they dread, a boss they can't stand, a paycheck that actually doesn't change their life, a dream that's been buried for 20 years, and then the stress peaks up, anxiety spikes up, and the heart gives out. But here's the kicker, guys. Somewhere in our lives, every single one of us at some point woke up realizing I refuse to live like that, which is why we're all here. Like we refuse to clock in, we refuse to barely survive, we refuse to wishing Fridays would hurry up, we refuse dreading Mondays. We signed up for the ownership, for the freedom, for the impact, right? For the wealth, for the growth. But here's a real question. Why are we working this business like a shoestring business rather than the business of impact? Why? Because guys, like we get to save so many people, help so many families. We all hold a key that can either save someone from the miserable Monday mornings or save their family by giving them options to not live the same cycle of their deceased loved ones. And last week, guys, last week was so good for me and my team because It was just a week all about production, all about some of the most amazing producers coming on here and pouring into every single one of us. But here's a cold hard truth, guys, is that 95% of us took that information and didn't do anything with it. That's a scary fact. 95% of us just listen and consume all of that information and didn't do anything with it. See, like most people, guys, are addicted to information but are allergic to execution. And a lot of people constantly just consume informations, just hyper motivational contests, but they're not saying something like, hey, like, how can I just implement this? Because information can only change situation through to actually implementing the stuff that we're actually learning. And we have a serious matter in our hand, guys, because like this, like what I heard in this podcast really hit home. And Marshall was here earlier this year, and he talked about his millionaire blueprint. Anybody want to put in the chat for me what that millionaire blueprint was? How many appointments? 15, 20, 15, 20. 15 appointments, 20 interviews. Now, the question is, are we working this business to its full potential? Let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys something. If I was to walk to each and every single one of you and ask you how many years of experience do you have in this business, what would you say? Because like there's a big difference between time and experience, right? In fact, like let's actually do this, guys. Put in the chat for me how many sits you had last week. How many sits you had last week? Andrew, buddy, can I have you on mute for me real quick, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you something, man. We know there's a threshold for full-time agent, there's a threshold, right, of appointments people should sit on. What's that minimum appointment should agents sit on in a week?
10 sits.
10 sits. All right. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. 10 sits, guys. Andrew, amazing producer, leader of amazing top producers, right? 10 sits. So is it safe to say then 10 sits equals 1 week of experience in this business? Andrew, would you say that?
Fair assumption.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So therefore, if 10 sits equates to 1 week of experience in this business, there's 52 weeks in the year, right? Let's just take 2 weeks off. That means it would take 500 sits for us to gain 1 year of experience in this business. Now, going back to the question I asked earlier, how many years of experience do you have in this business? See, some of us are thinking, well, I have 1 year of experience in this business, but do you really have 1 year of experience in this business? Because you may have been here for 1 year, but your sit shows that you've only had 3 years or 3 months, 3 months or 6 months of experience, for example. Right? Some of us are dragging this thing out so far out, dragging this thing so far out that we're not truly gaining the true rewards of this business, guys. And then on the flip side, there are agents who will come in here, right? Have only been here a year, but have sat on so many appointments that they have just as much experience as somebody who's been here for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. See, guys, like there's 5 stages there's 5 emotional stages in life. In this business, realistically, for me, is how I actually look at things there. Stage 1 is this. Stage 1 is what I call the uninformed optimism. And then stage 2 is that informed pessimism. Stage 3 is that valley of despair, or some of us call it the pit of despair in this business. And then stage 4 is that informed optimism, and stage 5 is that success level. And a lot of us are in those first 3 stages is when most of us don't make it in this business. Right? Put a 1 in the chat for me, guys. If you're only in this business, haven't bought any leads, you're just brand new, you're studying through licensing, where are my people at? Put a 1 in the chat if you're in that category. Right? Yeah, here they are. Those are my peeps right there. I've been there. I love that stage, guys, because like that was a stage, that was my favorite stage in this business. Because I remember when Marshall was interviewing me, telling me all the things about this business, and then all I heard was the 17-bedroom house I was gonna have, the fancy cars that was gonna be my garage, all the amazing stuff. I didn't hear all the struggles he was talking about. And this stage here, that stage one, that uninformed optimism is the most exciting stage for all of us, guys. If you're in that stage right now, man, kudos to you. It's exciting. It's there's just so much goodness in there. But in this stage here, you have to really model behavior, the desired behavior actually in this business, where you just get to watch and watch the people on that leaderboard consistently and truly start asking questions in terms of what they're doing to be able to be on that leaderboard consistently there. Because I promise you, it is not all roses and flowers. Right. But then stage two happens, guys, and that's that informed pessimism. Right. Put a two in the chat for me if you grab some leads. You're like within those 90 days, you grab some leads, you started making some dials. And then if you're like me, you got punched in the face so hard. And you're like, man, Marshall, what in the world? Marshall, man, these leads stink. You stink. Symmetry stinks. Casey Braden stinks. Everybody stinks. And he's like, nah, kiddo, you stink. Like, he's like, nah, buddy, you're the one who's awful at this business. See, in this stage here, guys, this is when reality starts to kick in. And like all the things that all the positive emotional state we had in stage one now goes out the window. We're in that negative emotional state. And then the benefit of this business now doesn't seem real anymore, doesn't seem important, doesn't seem immediate anymore. And this is where like we start to hesitate when it comes to dialing. We get to overthink this business, right? We get to avoid all the discomfort that really helps us get out of our comfort zone, right? We get to avoid feeling ready now, right? The hunger is not there anymore because we're getting beat up so much. But in this stage here, guys, we don't need to worry about the wins and the losses as much as it is just showing up to fight every single day. Right? Because we're all going to get punched. You just kind of it's all about how many times can you get up. And some agents, guys, some of us in this business are professionally dying every day because we're just hesitating to take the action. We're hesitating to get out of a comfort zone itself there, to do the things we need to do in order for us to get the results that we want to get. Because like I've heard Les Brown say this, he says, look, you can't have a champion's dream with a victim routine. You can't have a champion's dream with the victim routine. And that brings us to stage three, which is that valley of despair. This is like the lowest point of the emotional cycle, guys, and where the majority of people quit. And this is like and quitting in and of itself, there, guys, is like the fastest way to just end that discomfort. But I want to tell you guys something. In this stage here, most people don't lead their life, they just accept their life. And like when we all accept that life itself, they're like we get to live on things not worthy of our time and effort. And, right. But instead, what we need to do is this, guys. It's so key in this stage here is you got to be around people. You got to be around the fire. There's so many people in this group here who are at conferences, so many more conferences coming up. This is the time in this stage, guys, where you have to be around the people that are doing the things on a consistent basis. Because that is an opportunity for you to get symmetry into you and for you to get around the people that already have symmetry in them just so it can rub off on you. Because like protecting families themselves and the impact that we get to have, the people that we get to save from the miserable Mondays, is so worth it, guys. So worth it. But we tend to be in a situation where in this stage, what tends to happen in this stage, in stage three, that valley of despair, is that everybody goes into witness protection mode. And I've been there. I'm guilty of that. I've been in our witness protection mode. And I love what Brian Delaney said on the national call on Wednesday. He said every time I went to a conference, I came back to a better life. And right now, if you're in that stage where you did not hit the done button to be around the people in this business that are killing it, that can lift you up, you want to do so. You want to do so. Okay? Because if you tell yourself that you really want this thing to work the way you want it to work, you can't be in a situation where you're telling yourself, I'll go to the next one. It's not a if this thing works or when this thing works, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. See, the most dangerous word in the dictionary isn't fear, isn't the word no, it's the word later. And every time we say, I'll start fill in the blank later, you're giving yourself, your old self, really permission to live the same life, to live the same day that you've experienced in the past. And I do know one thing is this, guys, like there are places people would take you to that money just can't. There are places people would take you to that money just can't. Right? So for the sake of time here, guys, I leave us with this. Most of America yesterday woke up stressed. Yesterday, guys, thousands of people didn't get a chance to say goodbye to their families. And we have an opportunity that's in our hands that allows us to change that for people. But yet, a lot of us tell ourselves this, that it's the lead, it's the market conditions, it's competition. I interviewed a guy yesterday. He said, I tried this insurance thing during COVID. No one wanted insurance. And now, Joe, with how unstable the economy is, how is Cemetery fair? I said, well, we grew during COVID and we're going to grow again because we've grown every single year. But I don't think it's more to do with the leads, the market saturations or the market condition, the competition. I just think it's you. Sometimes it's just us. Because guys, look, there are massive IMOs out there with bad systems and agents who are successful. There are IMOs out there who, off the back of their agents going to grocery stores, standing in line, striking conversation with random people, selling those people's entire family and recruiting those people with no leads, no system, and are growing consistently. There are multi-billion-dollar publicly traded companies that don't use a single lead. They just find people who are hungry and go to work. But yet we have everything at our disposal here, but we're waiting for the system to give us the results versus just working the system. Right? Everybody wants a mansion. Nobody wants that spike in the mortgage payment. Everybody wants that fancy car, but they don't want to make the mortgage the car payment for it. Everything is right there at our disposal. We have the system. You have good leads, good leads, good leads, good leads. We have incredible support and mentorship in this business that allows us to be able to get to the places that we want to get to. So yeah, guys, this stat here had me in my feelings this morning. Right? I want all of us guys to be working on profitability on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays so we can tell our stories on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays so that we can change a life on a Monday morning and change a family's legacy on that Monday morning. So I'm gonna leave you guys in my Uncle Les spirit. It's not over until you win. And as my daughter likes to say, you just gotta be hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. Appreciate y'all. All right, Andrew, I don't know who takes this over, if it's you, if it's Wilbur, if it's Fred, Gabby, I don't know. Somebody's got to open up breakout rooms, man.
It's all done, man. Go and join your breakout rooms, friends.
Well,
If you
thank
do
you,
not
Joe.
have an, oh, go ahead. If you do not have an AO, feel free to stay here, or you don't know who your AO is, or you don't have a breakout, you can hang out with us in the main. Let me get that pulled up. Okay. I have too many tabs open. Shocker. Okay, I think we're ready. Okay. All right, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Let's take a look at what we're looking at. This is for those of you who are newer into the field. Tuesday is our halfway point through the week. So today marks your halfway through week 4 of February because our weeks start on Saturday. So taking a look at where Jordan is landing. Let's see, we're at 105 dials for the week with 1 contact, 1 appointment set, 3 submitted, and 4,800 on 2 apps, which is bananas. 105 dials to 1 contact feels very out of rhythm. I feel like the earth probably stopped rotating on an axis yesterday for you. But otherwise, really incredible. 20,000, almost 21,000 for the month so far. And I have no doubt that by the end of this week, you'll have cleared the new goal that we set for you. Oh, Corinne also with 105 dials. Must have been something in the water yesterday. So we are at 236 for the week with 13 contacts, 5 appointments set, 4 run, 1 app submitted. Nice app if you're going to submit an app, a little over 1,800 in AP. Let's take a look at where we're going for the month right now, Corinne. We have 45 set, 27 run, 11 submitted. So we're close to those 50% ratios. I would say that if we're looking at what it is that we're working on, that 45 to 27, I would anticipate, 45 to 27, what is the math on that? I don't even know. It's been a long morning already, you guys. I wasted all my good energy on the gym and now I've got no brain space for you. So 22 would be, so all right, we're getting more than half the people to show up. So I guess what we're looking at is appointments run to apps submitted, really, right? I mean, if we're looking at what we can button up here, because I would expect on almost 30 appointments that we'd run to have closer to 15 closed, which would get you a lot closer to your goal. But I'm not going to be mad at a 9,300, almost 9,400 submit month. Anna Allison in the field yesterday with 40 dials, 55 on the week, 7 contacts, 1 appointment set, 2 appointments run, no apps submitted. Anna, what's going on? We are stuck in a rut, I feel like. I feel like we talked about this a little bit in January as well. So we've got 24 appointments set for the month, 11 run. We're still having trouble closing. Are we on here today? Is she here somewhere? Or am I talking to myself? It's hard to tell. Let me search the
She's not
search.
here.
Oh no, she's here. Anna, are
Oh,
you here? Can you unmute? Are you in a spot
oh,
that you can unmute? Here, but can't unmute. All right, if you are you able to just put in the chat, are you getting a lot of think about it, or are there a lot of like cancel it? What's going on there? Are you able to text? We'll wait to see. Because that 11 to 4, really, that's what I'm looking at is just, and it's not a bad close rate overall, right? It's almost
Usual.
50% of the yeah, a lot of reschedules, a lot of think about it. I wonder if one of two things is happening in your appointments. If you're getting a lot of reschedules, obviously that's a tie down thing. But if you're getting a lot of think about it, I wonder if you're presenting too many options in the appointment. Like that would be the first thing that I would take a look at is, are we confusing the client in the sale? Because you've got a lot of activity happening, and I can't be mad at you for an $11,000 month. Like that is, but I know that you produce better than that. So I would say that just getting a couple more people to the table in the first place, because on 24 set, I would expect somebody who's been in the business as long as you have to have closer to 15 run, and then, closer to eight or nine apps on the board. Feel free to text me. We can work through some of this stuff as well. Because you're better than your numbers show, even though there are people on this call that would like literally kill to have numbers like this. I know how good you are at this business. Trinity Abel's in the field for 115 dials yesterday. We're at 180 for the week with three contacts, one set, one run, one submitted. If you're going to submit an app, 2,200 ain't bad. And she's at a little over 19,000 for the month. So I have no doubt, with 4 days left to go for the week, that you're going to clear the new goal that we set for you, Trinity. I like it. I like it a lot. Marcy's pod. Let's take a quick peek here. I'm going to close the chat so I can actually see. All right, Marcy, we are on 24 dials for the week with five contacts, two set, two run, two submitted. I mean, that doesn't suck right there with 3358, and we are just short of our goal by a hair. And I have no doubt with four full days left in the month that you will clear your goal of 10K. So I love that for you, and welcome back after your cool, I was going to say cool powerhouse, but that's not it. Your retreat is the word that I was looking at. All right, Cassidy Whitman in the field for 64 dials for the week with eight contacts, five appointments set. You're going to talk to eight people and set five appointments. I am inspired by that. I love that. Two run, zero apps submitted. So you don't have any problem getting people on the phone, is what I'm seeing. You don't have any problem getting people to actually go to appointment with you. That's a freaking tight number. I love that. You are freaking great at getting them to show up. We are struggling a little bit with getting them to close. Is Cassidy here? I don't know if I'm talking to myself again. Let's see.
Yeah,
Cassidy, unmute for me and tell me what's going on with some of these appointments, if you don't mind.
I'm getting a lot of think about it as well.
Okay. Do you think that you're over presenting options inside of the appointment?
I think that could be a problem for a few of them.
Okay.
Maybe some like critical period issue. It's a lot of people. I've been getting a lot of older leads and they're, requesting 200,000. I'm presenting critical period and they're not seeing the value in it.
Okay. Are they people who are, I'm just going to kind of brainstorm here with you because your numbers are so freaking good for you to not be closing. Like you're just doing too much awesome for then the results not to be where they matter, which is in your wallet. So, when you're doing these clients with the critical period, are you finding a lot of single people or a lot of married couples?
It's a mix. I would
Okay.
say more married couples.
Okay. So when we're talking about married couples on the critical period side, which is kind of the same end, right? The goal really is to get them to walk backwards into what are the bills, like Tom, if you died yesterday, what does Mary have to cover today, right? Like forget the mortgage and everything. Let's just get to what does she have to have because the lender doesn't need her to pay $200,000, right? The lender needs her to be able to make the next mortgage payment. And I think what people fail to understand.
300,000.
Oh, hey, Laura, can you mute yourself, please? And thank you. So they don't need to make the whole payoff. They just need to be able to make that next payment. And I think what a lot of people fail to understand, especially when they don't have like wills and things like that, that the probate process for the assets that a family member has can take 6 or 9 months. So I think kind of walking your clients through that process, like I know At 75, you would love for us to be able to pay for the entire mortgage. I'd love that for you as well. I'm going to assume you don't want to have two mortgage payments, one for the mortgage and one for the insurance, right? And I even almost like fib, like I can cover you for that, but it's going to cost you more than the mortgage payment does. I don't think that makes sense for you, does it? Like we can do a $1,700 policy. Do you want to do that? They're like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool. So let's talk about what's actually going to make sense for you right now, right? And that is, you told me you've got a 401k. You told me you have this. You told me you have that. These are the assets that your loved one is going to be able to access immediately. How long until that money runs out? And what do we need to fill the space between when you pass away and when your spouse is able to access that money, right? Because maybe that safety net is there, but the bills kick in tomorrow, right? And Social Security rollovers take 8 weeks. Okay, the probate process can take 6 to 9 months. Is your spouse on the title for the house, or does she need to transfer that asset over? Because that takes a while. Like none of this stuff is immediate. So while the life insurance that we're talking about today doesn't solve the problem of paying off the mortgage, that payment goes out to your wife in 2 weeks from now, right? 2 weeks from you passed away yesterday, 2 weeks, she's got that money in hand, and it's buying her time to make decisions in a time when, and I'll say to them, like, Tom, how long have you and Mary been married? And be like 49 years. Do you think that she's going to be of her right mind to be making financial decisions after losing you 49 years together? Like, how much of a cushion can we give her until she can get her stuff together and then, be forming a normal decision-making process? Like, she just needs to be able to pay the bills tomorrow. So I think that's the piece with that critical period that sometimes we miss, is that people think, well, I've got enough in a 401k. It's not immediate that you can access that. And then when you're dealing with the critical period for kids, right? That's where you're going to really lean into how much equity is in the house, right? I always say, are your kids adults? Do they live at home? Right? If they're not disabled children that live at home, or or 40-year-olds in crisis who also live at home, right? They're not probably taking over that mortgage, right? They have a house of their own. So what they're really trying to do is not come out of pocket until they can clear out your home and sell it. What you're giving to them in terms of the insurance is the equity that you've built up. How long do you think it would take your kiddo who lives in Colorado to get to Michigan, right? Clear out your house, prepare it for sale, and sell it? Do you think that would happen in 6 months or 9 months? So you're kind of like backing them into the critical period because they don't need to pay off the mortgage. They just need to be able to get the equity out and not come out of pocket in that process, and see if that helps you a little bit. And I would just narrow down the options as much as possible. You're so good at this business, so good at this business, that 2,600, when you set 23 appointments, is not reflecting how really good you are. Feel free to shoot me a message and we can kind of go back and forth. And if you want to record like that closing part of an appointment and send it over, I'm happy to take a look at it, because we're going to get you over this hump. I'm convinced of it. I hope that's helpful. It was a little rambly because I drank a lot of coffee this morning.
No, it was great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Shannon, let's take a look. We've got 35 dials on the week. We have 3 contacts, 0 appointments set, 1 run, 2 apps submitted with no APV recorded. Small sample size, and I don't really know that your numbers are up to date, so I'm going to bypass kind of going through stuff here for today. Ruben in with 34 dials on the week, 9 contacts, 1 appointment set, and we've got nothing up on the board. And Ruben, I'm going to pick on you a little bit because you came in hot with 566 dials, then you had 448, then you were at 313, and we're at 34. Okay. So I don't know what's going on. Like every week we're like kind of going down, and I want to kind of see you staying static. And I don't know what's kind of going on behind the scenes, but that 500 dial space when you are a brand new agent, I'm going to be honest with you, that is your floor. Because all you have is time right now, all you have is time in this business. We've got to get you to that first 1,000 dials, which we've gotten, and 20 appointments run, and you're close, right? But you've run 17 and only closed 5. So we've got to get you more at bats. And the only way we're going to get you more at bats is with more activity. You are so close to the other side of this business right now, which is like the training wheels coming off and just closing, successfully closing, that I think with just a little bit more activity, we can get you there. I don't know if we fell into the pit of despair or life just started lifing, but it's one of the two. And I hope to see your numbers kind of go back up from here.
Yeah, I had to
JT,
step out.
oh, good.
Sorry, I had to step out yesterday, so I didn't
Yep.
get to as many calls as I wanted. But today, I'm gonna get back over 100 for sure, at least. So
All right, I love it. I love it.
I
You're
agree.
so good as a new agent to come in with those kind of numbers to see 34 on the board. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, the activity needs to go up for sure.
All
You're right.
right. I love it. I love it. All right, beautiful. JT was the abominable snowman yesterday. So he had 5 appointments he was supposed to run. He had 4 that got rescheduled. He did plow a few driveways. So we're going to give him a little bit of grace this morning because I know that he's going to be making up for yesterday today. Christine in the field with 216 dials yesterday. She's at 451 for the week with 18 contacts, 2 set, 2 run. 0 apps submitted. But Christine, I'm going to give you a little credence here because we set 33 appointments this month so far. We've run 16, so our statistical averages are there. We have a closing issue. And again, I'm going to just lead you back to, and if you guys need scripts, I steer my agents to Leak. I love the Leak training. It's the best $25 you can spend if you are new and you need a framework. That being said, I can drop a free script in the chat here in just a second that you can take and run with, but we just got to get good at getting people across the finish line. But at least we're at least working with people. So this is progress. Susan, I don't even think let's do a wellness check because that's the second week in a row we have no data, and moving on. Molly Bryan with 20 dials for the week and small sample sizes. I'm going to quote Jim. We won't work with that for right now, so I'm going to bypass that. We need a wellness check going out, Sarah, on Kurt Norman as well. I don't know what's going on there. Olive in the field for 110 dials for the week. 10 contacts, 2 appointments set, 2 appointments run, and we came up dry on both of those. Let's see where we're at for the week. So you have a 10K goal with 4 days left in the month, kiddo. Let's see, 204 contacts, 35 set, 25 run. Oliver, are you here somewhere? Am I talking to myself again? I never know if I'm talking to myself, you guys. She's not here. I'll text her. I'm going to figure out what's going on. She just switched over to Zoom appointments, which is really exciting. I know that she closed her first Zoom last week, which is really fun. But 25 run and 6 submitted. JT, do we know what's going on there?
She's working through a little bit too much information, a little too quick on giving out the information before she's built the pain into the sale, so she knows she's got it. Working through it. She'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, she will. All right. So to translate what JT just said, she's dropping her pants and giving them the prices at the beginning of the appointment, which we call a cute quoter here in the field. If your appointment lasts 20 minutes or less, you did not run an appointment, you ran a quote. And I want to be really clear about that. Okay. So you have to build up to what assets exist if you died yesterday. What liabilities would your family member be responsible for if you died yesterday? You've got to get them to understand that they don't have, like, they're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. That is the first 25, 30 minutes of the appointment. The sale takes 10 minutes. Okay. But once you show the numbers, now you're a used car salesman. Okay. Now you wonder if they're going to come back to the lot. Now you're chasing them because now you're a bill. Somebody explained that to me when I was brand new. Okay. You just put a price tag on your phone number. Every time your phone calls them, they see $89.94. They don't see the solution that $89.34 presents. So you have to build in the pain, okay, at the beginning and get really good at like talking them through, which is why I really like when new agents run Zoom appointments because it forces you to have a sales deck and slow down and take yourself through the process rather than getting on the phone. I used to get on the phone with people and hope that they didn't show up. Like, Woo! I wasn't prepared for this one. I had the quotes run. I'm tired. My kids pissed me off 17 times today. Last thing I want to do is talk to you, Shirley. I really hope you know show me. I was like glad when it ended. Okay. If you're in that space still, that's not the way that we make money here, and know that that's a very normal space to be in. We want to make sure that the numbers are the last thing that we're talking about, and we're backing them into the numbers and getting micro commitments inside of that appointment before we ever talk about the cost. And that'll help with that close rate a ton. The other thing that JT said is presenting too many options. Okay. A confused mind doesn't buy. So if you're like, we can do full payoff with living benefits, and we can do half payoff and add accidental, and we can do critical period coverage, and they don't even know what critical period is. And you didn't explain why that actually helps, what the critical period even stands for, right? And this one has living benefits, but this one's cheaper because it doesn't have living benefits. And this one has living benefits, but it doesn't have critical period. The client is like just melting down. We don't want to word vomit on them. So the entire appointment is that nuance of what is the insurance going to do for them? What problem does it solve? Okay. They don't give a shit, pardon my language, but it's a Tuesday and I'm tired. Okay. About living benefits. I don't even talk about those until the end when I'm writing the app, and I'll be like, oh, by the way, Sarah, this policy has these other 3 features that come along for free with them. And so I just want to let you know, now that you've gotten that approval, that this is part of what it is that you have. It's not a sale feature for me. It's just like a, woo, by the way, we got you this extra thing that's in there. The features and benefits of the policy actually itself do not matter. The features and benefits that it provides for your client is the entire sale. This is going to make sure that Mike and the kids can stay in the house if you passed away yesterday. That's the only feature and benefit you need to worry about. All right, on to Violet's pod. Violet, my ADHD can't handle your sheet. I can do hard things. All right, let's do this. All right, so we didn't buy any leads. We're working some leads that we already had, but we spent money on leads. Make it make sense. I don't know. All right, so we've got 58 dials so far. Oh my God, wait. No, it's $518 was last week. All right, so we have 133 dials for the week. I can do hard things. I can. We have on 133 dials, we have 5 contacts. We've set 4 appointments. We've run 2, and this is unlike you. So I'm not too worried. This is for you to sit 2 and not close, tells me that those are going to be people that you close later this week on follow-up. Your goal is 15. You're at 11, almost 2. And I'm just looking through the numbers here. All right. So appointments set is 31. Appointments run is 19. And we've submitted 12 apps for just shy. Yeah, no, your statistical numbers are great here. So it's really just more activity right now in week 4 to get you over the threshold of 15K, if I'm seeing the math correctly. You're so good at this business. I remember when you were brand new and I was like, who the hell is this girl? You're just incredible. All right. So Steph Gant, let's see what you have going on for the week right now. 35 leads purchased for 195 dials for the month. All right. Wait. So Steph, were you on vacation for 2 weeks? What happened with your first 2 weeks numbers, or did you just jump in late?
Jumped in late.
Okay. I didn't think you were out of the field for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, that math ain't mathin'. All right.
I'm at like 16 for the month. Yeah.
Okay. So you're at 16 for the month right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So so why is your minimum goal 12?
I don't know. That was before I had yesterday.
You want to make it 20? You want to have
Yeah,
fun?
I need to fix that.
All right. So let's make it, I'll put the gym asterisks in here,
Okay.
and then we'll do your stretch goal. You want to do like 23 on the stretch?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. I like this for us. All right.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So let's see what we've got going on here. 10 leads purchased. We did 18 dials. We made 7 contacts. If you are new here, this is why we escalate to A leads. Hello, 10 dials. She made 7 contacts. Okay. The ROI is there. That does not mean when you've been here for 14 seconds, you buy A leads, because you don't know how to close those yet, folks. You don't. You got to get good at the sales process so that you can buy 10 leads, make an hour's worth of phone calls, and do your entire production from there. But that is a testament for buying the upgraded leads if I've ever seen one. So 7 contacts, 5 appointments set, which is freaking beautiful. We've run 3 and we wrote 5 apps, which is just Ninja Warrior style with 7,200 for the week so far. And I have no doubt that you're going to be at 20K by the end of this week. Another OG here in the field. And then I remember when she started, and she's so freaking good at this business. So just nothing but love. All right, let's take a look. Megan in the field for 161 dials. 15 contacts, 4 appointments set, 3 run, 1 app submitted for a little over 1,200 or a little under 1,200. And Megan is working through her think about it phase here, and she's just getting better and better every week. So we've got right at this point 42 set, 17 runs. So her goal this month was to work on that tie down, and it's working. We still have a little bit of tightening here, but the next space that we have to move into is getting from appointment run to app submitted. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this. She is coming into the field as a nurse, where everything that she's done in a previous career for 20 plus years, I mean, I don't want to date her, so I'm going to say 20 plus, has been a life or death situation, right? I can't get this wrong. The client has to know all their options, all the things. So we've been trying to get to the space where she's feeling empowered to tell the client less, give them less information, and kind of guide them rather than educate and inform them, and kind of take more of an empowered stance. And we're getting there. But for those of you who are like, man, I don't understand how some people are on here doing 17 and 20K and it's like seems so easy breezy. They've gotten through the 5 learning curves, right? It's learning how to dial, then it's learning how to set that appointment. Then it's learning how to get people to show up to the appointment. Then it's learning how to present on the sale. And then you think you've got that. You're like, woo, app and opt. And then your shit doesn't issue, right? So the 5th key is really getting your business issued, writing apps that issue the first time. And so if you're not all the way through all of those phases, it's okay. Those are 5 learning curves that we all have to get through on the other side of that insurance license. Love to see everybody winning. It is Tuesday. It is the last week of the month. It is a perfect month. So the month ends on Friday. Everything needs to be issued and submitted. The 28th is Friday. That never, ever, ever happens, where we have a neat and tidy, even month. So if you have goals that you are running for, make sure you get them in. And we will see you guys bright and early tomorrow again. Okay, let's see what we've got.